Hello, I'm Danielle Neah Amponsah, and this is SEO in 2025 Additional Insight.
Danielle, what's your additional insight for SEO in 2025?
Well, SEO should stop focusing solely on building links, and it should focus on building a brand with digital PR.
Building a brand with digital PR. So how do you run a successful digital PR campaign in 2025?
Well, David, there are so many moving elements in digital PR, but it all starts off with strategy and doing research. So a brand could do this, or an SEO could do this by using our favorite resources, our favorite tools, which are SEMrush, Ahrefs, looking at what people are talking about regarding the brand itself, and obviously the key topics as well associated with that brand. So looking at what people are saying on Reddit, on social media, as well as using, as I said, SEMrush and Ahrefs to do that competitor analysis, seeing what other brands, successful brands, are getting featured in the press and what kind of content they're producing that's building their brand mentions and building their backlinks.
Okay, so it starts off with strategy and research. So you mentioned some tools there in terms of what you use, but I'd like to delve into how you go about doing it. So when you're doing the research, what specifically are you looking for?
So we're looking for, first of all, we're looking at the key messaging. So what are the actual topics that people or the press say, what are they covering regarding a particular brand? So for example, if you are a brand that does supplements and yours is like whole foods, that sort of thing. So you're looking at, okay, what are my competitors getting featured in the press for? As well as what are the press actually talking about in my industry? Are they looking at how how supplements support gut health, for example? So then that kind of content, you can realize, all right, let's produce a digital PR piece based on that, backed up with some data as well. We can marry that up with some industry data, whether that's from the brand itself or whether that's from public data we can get from ONS, for example, or Google Trends, and just getting some data to back up that story, that content that we can see that is popular or that will land quite well because people are talking about it or people really want to know more about that particular topic.
Okay, so just backing up into how you go and selecting that specific topic, because there are potentially hundreds of different topics to select from. So how do you decide on the relevance of the topic? And is, for example, keyword volume really important to that topic? How do you know which topic is going to resonate the most with an audience?
Yeah, definitely. So you can start off by doing keyword research, obviously, looking at what people are researching, what people are searching, and what pages that lands to, what content that lands to, and using those keywords to help, obviously, traffic and volume. And again, using like tools like Google Trends to see, all right, these keywords are popular. These are going to work in terms of the topic that we should select. And also what we could look at as well is once we have some ideas of digital PR campaign ideas, topics, we also use something in-house here at Handnote called the competency check. So the competency check is basically validation. We want to make sure that obviously before doing the whole media list and reaching out to these publications that they actually are interested in it. So what we do is do like a warm-up. So we approach these publications, the press, the journalists, and say, hey, we're thinking of launching a piece about XYZ. This is the kind of data that we have. This is the kind of way we imagine the visualization to be. Would it be of interest to you? Would you cover a story like this? So just getting that feedback from these journalists really helps. And then you can see from there what stories are resonating with the press, as well as what we've just done the research to see that is resonating with the target audience.
Okay, so you're researching to see what stories that exist already resonate or are likely to be resonating with your target audience. But obviously those stories exist already. So how do you know the slant, the additional angle to add to the story so you're coming up with something relatively unique?
Oh yeah, definitely. So what we do as well is that data is a good starting point. So looking at the brand, just talking to the brand and understanding the brand itself. What are their target audience's pain points? What do they really feel like this is an issue for me? Because the brand will know that first and foremost, right? So just delving into those pain points of the target audience and what their desire is, what they really want to get out of it. That helps to then be able to think, okay, we can think of some ideas around that in terms of this kind of content will work well.
And sorry, in terms of the content that works well, is there a particular trend that you're seeing at the moment in terms of the style of content, the type of content that is more likely to engage an audience in 2025?
Yeah, so the kind of content that is working really well is ones that are easy to read, so like ranking. So in terms of like the best place to go or the best easy ones are just like ranking like top 5, top 10. Those work really well. And in 2025, it's still going forward. And ones that can be chopped up as well and used across social media. We know now that search engine optimization is going across social media now. So in terms of digital PR, that is pulling up into not just what the publications are talking about, but also in the search engines. You can see that social media is pulling up through there. So having content that is really resonating and can be used across various marketing channels, that works really well in digital PR. So that could also be like video content as well. Using videos within a digital PR really works well.
So you mentioned can be used across different channels as well. So then how do you launch a piece of digital PR content alongside other channels in order to maximize its impact?
Yeah. So again, that's the good thing about digital PR, because initially you've done the research, you know what's working well, what could work well. So then we can adapt it, for example, for emails, an email newsletter. Those are really great. So the brand could send that out and say, check out this piece that we've done and show a snippet of it in that email newsletter, linking back to the piece. And also on social media. So you can, for example, if the piece is about the best foods to eat for your gut health, obviously it's got more to it. You can make that into a reel. You can get Instagram. You can get influencers on board as well if the budget allows for it, and just getting them to add their commentary and adding that to social media. That will bring up the buzz for it, as well as driving back the backlinks and the interest back to the main web page that we're driving traffic to.
Okay, and is your goal generally of digital PR pieces to get an influencer from the industry to publish that piece maybe on their blog and to get other people to promote it?
Yeah, that's definitely a key element of it. To really push for the links, you can definitely get key influencers or key people within that industry to take a look at the piece and write about it or share it as well with their audience. Yes, definitely.
So should every SEO know about digital PR and how it works, or is digital PR a specialist field that someone needs to concentrate on by themselves?
I definitely feel like SEOs need to learn about it. It is more than just links. As you can see, there's so many parts to it. Yeah, of course, links are great. Google loves it. It helps, but just really building that brand so it's more than that, and it's evergreen as well to some extent. It can also continue to generate interest over time.
So how can SEOs and digital PRs then, if they're working separately to a degree, maybe as part of the same team, how can they work more effectively together? I mean, for instance, can SEOs help with the planning process? Can digital PRs help with making other aspects of SEO campaigns, tasks more effective?
Yeah, definitely. I think SEOs play a vital role, particularly in the first initial stages of research, of sort of seeing what's working well, what we should be doing, what kind of content we should be producing in terms of that can work well as well when we're pitching or outreaching for digital PR. SEOs are vital for that part. And also when we're trying to drive revenue in the long run for the brand, SEOs really work well because obviously they know the technicalities of product pages and how everything works. So we can talk to them about, right, what are we actually pushing for? Where should we be driving the traffic to? And then that helps as well.
What metrics do you look at when measuring whether or not your digital PR campaign piece was successful?
Okay, so there's 3 main umbrellas that we use here at HandNote. So we call the triple R metrics. So that's rankings, reputation, and revenue. So of course we know that digital PR sits really well within SEO. It's based on SEO to some extent. So we're trying to improve the rankings for certain keywords that the brand wants to rank for. So digital PR supports the SEO aspect of it. Of course, we're looking at that. We're also looking at traffic increase. We've had a brand that increased their traffic by 2,000% in a month once we did outreach, digital PR outreach. So that really helps in terms of tracking success. Going on to the second one, reputation. With reputation, we also get to see, right, over time, since we've launched this digital PR campaign or started doing digital PR, how is the brand being perceived by the public, as well as the target audience and the press? So is it positive? Is the brand sentiment positive? Are we getting positive articles? Are people loving it? Are we getting fans? Or is it just sort of like hit and miss, not quite sure where it's going? So we can measure that as well. So that's reputation. And then finally, revenue. So again, digital PR is very good at bringing in that traffic and obviously mapping that to the pages where we want the money pages, the pages that bring in the revenue. So it could be product pages, category pages, that sort of thing. So we can see over time how the traffic correlates with the revenue and as a result of the PR that we've been doing. So we can track all of that.
So you talked about some metrics there that you can use, but how do you know that it's digital PR that has had the impact if there are lots of different marketing channels and other SEO campaigns that are potentially having the same effect?
Yeah, so when we look at the back end, we can look at referring traffic to the page or the way we're driving the traffic to. So we can look at referring traffic, we can look at where the backlinks are coming from to see that, okay, these are definitely coming from, let's say it's coming from Forbes, it's coming from Huffington Post. We can see that, oh, obviously we've pitched to them and the content that they're talking about is about a digital PR piece that we put together and it's linked to the brand's page, the web page that we were driving traffic to, or the homepage of the brand. So we can easily see that correlation with the referring backlinks.
What's the timescale on average that you should take from contemplating that you should actually have a digital PR campaign to the campaign being carried out? Are we talking about months? Is there any standard timescale that you can give?
So typically, it takes about 3 to 6 months typically across the industry where you can start tracking and seeing can see the return on investment basically. But what usually does happen, if you're looking for, okay, I just want to be in a publication, obviously we cannot manage that. It can happen overnight, or it can happen 2 weeks' time, it can happen in a month's time. But that's the thing with PR, is that we're always on. So we're constantly spotting opportunities and pitching. And we have had clients where they've had 2 backlinks overnight. So we've pitched and it happens overnight. So I think one thing that we can do as well with SEOs doing digital PR is that you don't have to launch a digital PR campaign. You don't have to sit down and do the whole thing. To get started, you could do a bit of research on what your key messaging is, what your brand stands for, and then pitching to just doing some research, building a media list and pitching to publications that you can see will talk about your brand or your topic that you are trying to pitch for. And then on top of that as well, you can use reactive PR and journal requests. I don't know if you've heard of that. So journal requests is one that is a big thing now. I think there's so many tools out there that has made it so much easier to get yourself in the press and get those backlinks as well.
If an SEO is struggling for time, what should they stop doing right now so they can spend more time doing what you suggest in 2025?
Okay, so they should stop worrying about just getting their links from anywhere. Oh, we need to get 100 links. So they're just pitching low quality websites to get a link. That's just so old. Like, we should be doing that. It's all about brand now. It's all about relevancy and for the long term. So they should stop doing that and focus on creating stories that people actually care about and getting the right people to talk about the stories so that it goes back to the brand and they will link to you that way because it's of genuine interest.
Danielle Neah Amponsah is a digital PR consultant and co-founder at HandNote. You can find her over at handnote.co.uk. Danielle, thanks so much for adding your additional insight to SEO in 2025.
Thank you very much, David. Thanks for having me.
I've been your host, David Bain, and you've been listening to SEO in 2025 Additional Insights, a Majestic series that complements the original podcast, video series, and book. Find out more at SEOin2025.com.